these people to go home.
It's one thing to see business.
Okay, guys, we are now. Sure. Okay. It seems, guys, that we have a little bit of a problem. I just turned the news on, and Channel 3 is reporting there's like hell right now going to Kalamazoo right now. A3, CBS, we're right now on our CBS affiliate. We're on our local CBS affiliate, and it sounds like there's hell going on right now. CBS.
Some near-violent encounters between protesters and Kalamazoo Public.
I'm gonna go live to this. I mean,
there was a much more peaceful protest earlier today, which was as a result of the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis a week ago Monday. That's what's, of course, bringing these protests around the country, although, as many feel, it ceases to do.
Okay, guys, we're not going to go live to this right now. We're currently going to hook the...
Here come Kalamazoo Public Safety officers again in their protective gear as they patrol. They've already used tear gas.
Okay, guys, I'm going to now put this on the TV right now. As you can see what I'm saying, this is from CBS affiliate, WWMT, our CBS affiliate.
For me to ask people to go home. We ask you to go home. We ask you not to come downtown. There's a lot of curiosity about what's happening there.
We're going to now put you guys on CBS. We're now going to shoot you guys over to CBS, our CBS affiliate.
There's been a lot of expensive vandalism, lots of damage. And Kalamazoo Public Safety has called in reinforcements from Vandalsim, Michigan State Police, the township, also Portage.
Ooh, PCP, ooh.
This group's going. It's hard to tell now what street they're even on.
Yeah.
This is from CBS, guys. A local CBS affiliate. I would not do this if it wasn't important. This is breaking news, guys, out of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
To some apartment.
That's about 40. That's like 25 miles from our location, our studio. Our studio is 25 miles from this location, so this is kind of scary.
Academy, towards Westnedge, towards Bronson Park. Hopefully, you guys at home can kind of understand the picture, the map I'm painting for you.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going back towards where all the chaos kind of started when we were right near that church where the tear gas was first deployed. But now they're just walking. So I don't know if they're, looking for the groups that ran away. They've got some vans following them. Everyone's just kind of walking. And now it's really just us, a couple other news outlets, media outlets, and police. So the crowds really have disappeared fast. Don't know where they went.
Well, that's good news. We hope it stays that way. Hannah, while we have you, I know that you spoke with Kalamazoo Public Safety Chief Carrie Thomas about an hour ago. Reiterate for us what she told you.
Yeah, so it was right before everything kind of got crazy. So it was a really quick interview, about 2 minutes long, and she pretty much just told us that they are aware of what's happening here in downtown Kalamazoo. Mind you, this was about 2 hours ago, Andy, and that they were pulling an extra crews. We now know that, as you've said multiple times on air, and that they had a plan in place in case things escalated, which it has now since escalated.
Yeah.
So really, when we talked to her, it was before all of this happened, and she was just telling us that, stay home, don't come to the downtown area, be, safe, because they know that it's going to get bad, and they just really wanted to get that message across to stay home and don't come partake in what's happening down here.
Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of indiscriminate damage, Hannah. Storefronts, but also cars. We just saw a couple of cars with their front windshields smashed in. Anybody who's lived in Kalamazoo for any amount of time has heard of the X train, a group of folks who sort of drive around in a caravan of cars and have been known to cause some trouble. Well, we wondered when we heard that there were roving looters if the X train was involved. Kalamazoo Public Safety confirming that this is not that group, that these are other people entirely. Now, what's happened in other cities is non-locals are coming in to cause trouble. We don't yet know if that's happened here. We're watching a very large group of public safety officers in their protective gear marching down the street. That after firing gas into the crowds a couple of times here in the last 20 minutes or so. Our Hannah Knowles did speak with the police chief. She was sort of summarizing for us what Chief Carrie Thomas told her. We want to show you just part of that interview now.
We have a very volatile situation occurring downtown.
It's currently 2 p.m. Eastern. Surely 2 a.m.
We
Eastern
wanna make
Standard,
sure
guys.
all our
2 a.m.
officers and everyone downtown stays safe. But at this time, we have a lot of destruction of property going on and looting, and we need to take care of what is going on downtown, as well as making sure everyone stays safe. So we ask everyone not to come downtown, not to come see what's going on. This is a police action at this point, and we are using all resources available in order to make sure we maintain life down there and property.
Do you have a plan if things get worse from here on out throughout the
We
night?
do have a plan and we have contingencies, and we'll follow through with those. What we don't want to do is add more people to this who want to be part of the show. We just can't do that at this point. This is now a police action.
It's 2 a.m. now. That interview was conducted about 2 hours ago by KDPS Chief Carrie Thomas, flanked by Kalamazoo City Manager Jim Ritzman there, imploring people not to come downtown. She says this is a police action now, which means not safe to be there. Police are trying to contain what's been a pretty volatile night, as the chief mentioned, and lots of vandalism and far too many people in that danger zone. Another live look here as our Hannah Knowles and our photojournalist Patrick Hagan follow along as police in protective gear patrol the streets. It's very quiet now, Hannah. We heard some folks yelling earlier. That appears to be no longer the case.
Yeah, Andy, no longer the case, as you just said, pretty quiet, but off in the distance, we actually can see some more people starting to walk this way. We just got to the church where everything kind of happened. That first time you saw us get tear gas, you heard a lot of coughing, and this was where that all started, right behind Bronson Park. So police are still walking back towards the Kalamazoo Mall. They're getting pretty close to like the Exchange building, that area of downtown. We're seeing some more people, bystanders, start to show up again. Last time we checked in with you, I said it was pretty quiet, just us and police. That's not the case anymore, but we're just kind of walking, following police. Not sure what's going to happen, but as you just heard the police chief say, you know, they wanted people to stay out of this area so they didn't have to do what you witnessed, tear gas people, things of that nature. So if you're watching this at home, just another good reminder to stay home. Don't come down here. It is 2 a.m. and it's still developing as we're just walking through the downtown streets.
Yeah. All right, Hannah, thank you so much. And we'll stay with your live camera here as we hope that the violence is over and the vandalism is over. By way of summary, we're about 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes into what has been a very, very dangerous night in Kalamazoo, and especially in the downtown area. After a very peaceful protest of the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, we now see that there are vandals who've been breaking into storefronts in the Kalamazoo downtown mall area. Also in the suburban areas as far west as West Main and Drake earlier today.
Ooh.
We got some video of that.
That's not far from
police. A long line of police in protective gear.
I don't know what's that. I
It
don't know where Drake
seems
is at.
that there aren't as many others down there, and it's quieter. We heard some yelling a little while ago as folks were confronting police and sort of discussing loudly with them. And then we saw the tear gas that you saw as well here on News Channel 3 Live that appeared to have worked. It's a crowd control device, and it's intended to disperse crowds. Chief Carrie Ann Thomas just saying, please avoid this area. It's already bad enough. Don't add yourself to it. Vandalism in the
It is guiding some of the
NBC
decisions,
8.
calls they're making to move in swiftly, aggressively, clear this out before more damage is done. Hey guys,
and in various poses for a full minute and a half.
Is that your Bible?
Child, got married, fell in love.
What's she doing on TV? She's on at 10 o'clock today, and on here at midnight. She's stupid.
I didn't really need to.
CBS 3,
safety.
News Channel 3,
They are
WWMT,
chasing
Kalamazoo,
several
Michigan.
Groups.
Channel 3.
That there is lots of damage everywhere, they say, chasing several groups. Lots of damage. You're seeing one crime scene, one very large multi-block crime scene, the downtown Kalamazoo area. But that isn't all they're dealing with today. Kalamazoo Public Safety is out tonight chasing, they say, that's their own word, roving bands of rioters and looters who are mobile. They're in cars. So there's a lot of damage, the extent of which we don't yet know, remains to be calculated in total. It's after 2 a.m. on a Tuesday now, and we're still looking live at what was a very, very dangerous situation. There continues to be a large police presence surrounding Bronson Park on the Kalamazoo Mall, Michigan Avenue block. That's a main state trunk line that takes traffic through downtown Kalamazoo. That is closed. No vehicle traffic allowed in the area, and Kalamazoo police don't want anybody else coming down. At this point, we're going to wait and see what else we hear from Kalamazoo Public Safety. We see some officers heading to other scenes. Hannah, anything new?
The only thing is we can tell that they have somebody in handcuffs behind that white van that Patrick is showing you right now. We're here on the backside of Bronson Park, again, where kind of all this is happening. A lot of police officers, not sure what happened. We just started hearing somebody yelling, and I got to the back of the van. We can see that somebody is in handcuffs. We don't know if he's going to be taken away. We don't know what led to this. We just can tell that he is standing next to quite a few police officers in handcuffs, and they're talking. Can't hear what they're saying because we're kind of far away, but we'll try to figure that out for you.
Yeah, we did see one person get arrested very early in the evening, about 10:30, I guess, early in this process anyway. And we now know from Kalamazoo Public Safety, they're confirming that several people have been arrested. And we just saw somebody else wearing handcuffs there as well. This is
come back to me.
okay, Hannah. Yes, Hannah. We hear you.
Police just got on. Okay, so police just got on a loudspeaker. They are telling everyone that you have 5 minutes to clear the downtown area. So if you are watching this at home and you had plans to come down here, you have 5 minutes to get out of this area. So we still see people walking around. I can see people walking towards Bronson from streets further away. So hopefully they can hear this message, but they're just driving through the downtown area here on Westnedge, telling people they need to leave.
I've been to
You have
Bronson
5
Park,
minutes to
guys.
get
I
out
love the
here.
park, but this is ridiculous.
Okay.
Or you'll face arrest, apparently, is what
Okay.
they're also saying.
And you'll be subject to arrest if you're there past 5 minutes. Hannah, thank you. That's Hannah Knowles
It's
describing
2:06
for us
right
what's
now,
going
guys.
over a
Eastern time.
loudspeaker right now in downtown Kalamazoo after many hours of police asking people to leave, even using tear gas to force them to leave. They are now announcing that anybody who is still there, loitering at this point, will be arrested after 5 minutes from now. There's somebody in handcuffs being led away by Kalamazoo Public Safety officers in protective gear. I just heard again from Kalamazoo Public Safety headquarters. They are, of course, monitoring the entire city, not just the downtown area. Now reporting some issues with vandalism and crime in the southeast and the northeast parts of the city. The southeast part of the city could be the Edison neighborhood. The northeast part of the city could be the East Main area as well. We're hoping for more clarification on that very shortly. It is 2:07 on a Tuesday morning. A live look now at the downtown Kalamazoo area. Lots of police cruisers, lots of police in protective gear, and several people have been arrested after massive vandalism on the Burdick Mall and in that area. That is the Kalamazoo Civic Auditorium there, which is on the south end of the Bronson Park area right there, Park Street and south. So yes, one injury to an officer that we're aware of at the hospital right now. We don't know yet if that officer has been released or will he be soon. We do know that police, having used tear gas already, are now giving folks an ultimatum that if they don't evacuate the downtown area, go home in the next now 3 minutes, that they will be subject to arrest. And we've watched several people be arrested already. This is one crime scene of many in Kalamazoo at this very late hour. Police responding to a roving band of vandals who have been breaking into and trying to break into stores, big box and otherwise, strip malls and locally owned small boutiques, bars, restaurants, salons in downtown Kalamazoo. They did use the tear gas to disperse the crowd, and it seemed to have worked very well. I see far fewer people there now than half an hour ago, people who shouldn't be there. as Kalamazoo police are asking everyone to get out of the downtown area. It is quiet there. It was not quiet a while ago. We heard lots of people shouting and yelling at the police. Some heated
Audio from
exchanges
CBS.
happening as far
Audio
back
and
as
video is from
10:30
News Channel 3,
earlier
CBS,
today-
Kalamazoo,
tonight
Michigan.
At the Radisson Plaza Hotel area in Plaza Court.
A local CBS
One of
affiliate.
many businesses that was
Kalamazoo.
already vandalized. Our live camera continues to stay with Hannah Knowles. And Hannah, we know that they gave those folks a warning to
I'm gonna have
leave.
to turn the light off, guys.
Do you see any evidence of them not leaving?
I'm sorry to see
Yeah, I
that,
just wanted to check in and kind of let you know what's
Sorry
happening
if you
now.
left
You can
the
see
fear.
here in the distance, well, that police car that just drove off, that was the guy who we showed you earlier who was in handcuffs. He was yelling, kind of put up a fight, did not want to leave. Since they've announced that there was a 5-minute warning that you needed to get out of the area, now about 2 minutes, I believe, is the time that we're looking at, it has definitely quieted down. Police are still here. We're at Bronson Park. You can see them surrounding the area. A lot of lights flashing. All the entrances to downtown are still blocked off. You can see that down there further. That's Michigan Avenue. So they still have all of these entrances
Okay,
blocked
that's
off.
it.
But the crowds
That's also in the
have
library.
definitely dispersed. Not as many people around in the area, and it's a lot quieter than what it once was. So hopefully this is wrapping up. But I do want to say that this is kind of how it's been all night. When our other news reporter, Genevieve Grippo, was covering this earlier in the evening, quite a few hours ago, she said that it would come and go and come and go. So hopefully people are listening to police, staying home. We've seen tonight that they will use tear gas and other methods to get people away from the area to stop doing this. So that's what we're seeing right now. And I just wanted to give you an update that things seem to be kind of calming down.
Yeah, kind of. We were a little worried about you and Pat there. You were right too close to the tear gas. You feeling better?
Yeah, we are feeling better. We really weren't even that close, to be honest with you. We knew something was going to happen, so we backed up very quickly, and we still felt it. I mean, it was just instantly, start crying, pain in your eyes, hard to breathe, coughing. I'd never experienced something like that before, so that was a new thing for me. But we're okay. I can see a lot of other media in the area. Everybody seems to be okay. And so far, I've only seen that one person being taken away from cops, by cops. So not quite sure if there's been any more arrests tonight other than the one you said earlier as well, or injuries. Still waiting to see about that.
Yeah, we know that there have been several arrests tonight. No firm number on that yet. And we know of only one injury to one public safety officer that was non-life threatening, thank goodness. We're on Michigan Avenue with our live camera here, and the time is up. Kalamazoo Public Safety going over a
It's
loudspeaker now 5 minutes ago, telling everyone who is not law enforcement that they must be gone within 5 minutes. And I've not seen anybody who fits that description in recent minutes here. That's good news, I guess. We don't see anybody who doesn't belong at this point. There were far too many people down there earlier and far too many buildings vandalized. This is a very complicated effort here on the part of law enforcement that requires extreme coordination between agencies. There are multiple police agencies down there keeping the peace. Kalamazoo Public Safety did call for reinforcement from the surrounding area today. And it all seems fairly calm at this hour. It's 2:13 in the morning. And about 45 minutes ago, we saw a very different scene. We saw folks yelling. We saw tear gas. We saw broken windows and people breaking the windows, even of a church right in front of police. Michigan State Police cruisers there as they head northbound right now on Park Street at Michigan. We're going to continue to follow this with our live coverage, and we implore you, as police do, don't go downtown out of curiosity. We know it's tempting, but it's a dangerous situation. Police are there with almost every street that could get you there blocked off, either with personnel or vehicles. And this is only one of many scenes that they are responding to. We've not yet heard of a large structure fire in the area as related to this rioting. But we do know that there are some other vandalism crimes occurring on the northeast and the southeast portions of Kalamazoo. So obviously officers are responding to those as well. No information yet on the nature of those crimes or those vandalism incidents, but we'll find that out for you here in very short order. Once again, we have been following now almost 4 hours into this process. It's been a very frightening night for many downtown Kalamazoo after a no problem vigil / demonstration earlier this evening. We have devolved. The situation has disintegrated, and there have been lots of angry exchanges, lots of crimes committed in downtown Kalamazoo. Our Hannah Knowles is down there along with our Erica Moke, who's been going on to Facebook Live, especially in the Kalamazoo Mall, where she's talking with folks and showing some of the damage there. Many buildings and storefronts have been smashed in. Now a church as well, a car dealership, plenty of vehicles in the area have been damaged. And our Genevieve Grupa was one of the first reporters on the scene when that initial arrest was made, now almost 4 hours ago. Hannah, anything to tell us now?
Yeah, Andy, looks like police are actually kind of walking away from where we are, from the back of Bronson Park. We did see just a minute ago some more officers actually show up, so maybe they're doing a shift change, switching out people. But yeah, we're going to actually start walking back towards the Kalamazoo Mall to kind of give some of our viewers who are maybe just tuning in a look at that damage that we saw earlier. It looks like where we are at right now, the scene is kind of wrapping up, ending. They're moving somewhere, so they're taking their gear off. Definitely is not as high stress of a situation as what it once felt like. So we're going to make our way back towards the mall to show you guys some of that damage that we brought to you a few hours ago.
That's our Hannah Knowles there, walking back towards the Kalamazoo Mall. She's on Academy Street right there, heading for the America building by Bronson Park. There's been damage all over the downtown area, not just on the mall, but the worst of it does appear to be at the retail establishments on the mall. And we have a Peregrine Tower camera. I'm wondering if our producer could take that shot live. That's on the top of Peregrine, and it is looking at South Street. There we have it. And the Burdick Mall at Fandango Restaurant, and a police cruiser blocking off South Street, which runs eastbound to which runs westbound out of the downtown area. The damage is extensive, and it's not just a few places. Kzoo Sports, we saw the entire entryway, a very tall glass broken. Lana's Boutique, the windows have been smashed in. Kalamazoo Tailoring Company as well. Kzoo Sports, Principal, a restaurant in the area on the mall. They're boarded up right now. Ormby Hayes car dealership. There's a Mercedes and a Mazda dealership downtown. We know of vandalism there. The brand new, not yet even finished 15-story Exchange building has some damage to an ATM and to the Chemical Bank on the ground floor. Also, the Plaza Corp building has some damage at Michigan and Rose. Those are all broken glass situations there. And a church we know of more recently has had some windows broken out as well. Folks and police say intent on looting and causing damage tonight. We've seen lots of video of protesters in some pretty heated exchanges with police. Lots of yelling, unfortunately some profanity, which we apologize for, and aren't able to control when it's a live situation like this.
I know.
All we can do is apologize. And we've also seen plenty of, there's another criminal situation there, and a large opening boarded up after lots of vandalism overnight in Kalamazoo. That's the courthouse, Kalamazoo County Courthouse there. And we knew that had been vandalized very early on in the evening. In fact, that's where it all started. Now, lots of broken glass on the sidewalk there, which is obviously dangerous. And that has not yet been cleaned up, as we see there. So another reason why you shouldn't be in the area. No one should be in the area who's not law enforcement. About 15 minutes ago, our Hannah Knowles reported that she heard over a loudspeaker Kalamazoo public safety officers issuing an ultimatum and a direct order for everyone to leave the downtown area. It appears that advice has been heeded. We don't see very many folks, Hannah, who aren't police at this time, and I haven't heard anybody yelling either for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot quieter down here. There is some spray paint, which we're not going to show you because it says bad word right here on the sign of the courthouse. But there's a lot of damage. You can see that police are still blocking Michigan Ave, so nobody can get down this way towards the Exchange building, the Radisson Hotel. But crowds, like you just mentioned, Andy. They've really gone home or left the area. And now that it's all kind of calm, this is my first time being back here on Michigan Avenue, seeing some of the damage and seeing it again, not in the heat of the moment. And it's heartbreaking to see. You can see Michigan News Agency over there, that window right on the corner, completely shattered, glass all over the ground. We saw, similar damage like this just last weekend in Grand Rapids, and now this is happening right here in our neighborhood in Kalamazoo. As we walk back down towards the mall, you can see there's trash on the ground. Police cruisers still are hanging around with their lights on. More graffiti on the Michigan Avenue courthouse. Does say a bad word though, so we'll try not to show that for our viewers at home. And yeah, not a lot of people here anymore. That's for sure. It's definitely changed since we've been on air for the last few hours.
Yeah, and we are just hearing back from Kalamazoo Public Safety Headquarters that there are no new developments in the last few minutes here. We are in constant communication with them, and we certainly know that they've had a lot of trouble earlier tonight, but it does appear, as our Hannah Knowles is showing us, that things have finally quieted down. It's been a pretty frightening experience, I'm sure, for folks in the downtown area, even for public safety officers who saw the situation go from bad to worse very rapidly. 10:30, we had our Genevieve Grippo live on the scene of what we believe to be the very first arrest in this whole process at Michigan and Rose, and a very loud confrontation and angry sort of argument between protesters of the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis and Kalamazoo public safety officers. Hannah Knowles, our reporter, and our photojournalist Patrick Hagan, returning to the epicenter of all of this. That is the 15-story Exchange building, which is not even yet fully completed. And there's damage to an ATM there, to the chemical bank on the ground floor. There's damage across the street to Plaza Corp, and many, many businesses damaged down to the right, a couple of blocks on the Burdick Mall. Restaurants, bars, clothing boutiques, a tailoring company, a church, a car dealership, the list goes on and on. At one point, probably about 45 minutes ago, we did see that Kalamazoo public safety officers in protective gear used tear gas, which is a crowd control device. It's a flashbang, it's a smoke, it's blinding, it chokes you, it burns your eyes, and it's intended to disperse crowds. They employed that several times. Many people left at that point. And then a few minutes ago, here for like 15 now,
p.m.
Kalamazoo Public Safety issued
Currently it
an
is
ultimatum for
2:20
loudspeakers to
a.m.
leave.
Eastern Standard Time.
I haven't seen anybody, Hannah Knowles, who is not law enforcement in quite some time. You're right by the Radisson Hotel. We see emergency vehicles without lights and sirens, finally, leaving that immediate area, maybe even leaving altogether. Do you get the sense the worst is over?
First is over. I wouldn't say though yet that everybody is leaving, because when I look behind me, I do see some more police lights down at the very, where Michigan Avenue was first blocked off. You can see here on the corner of the mall, we're gonna take a right and kind of show you some of the damage and just kind of walk and let the camera roll for anybody who wasn't with us earlier when we were down here. But it does seem like people are leaving, including police. We now see some store owners with brooms, people cleaning up. You can see them right there trying to get the glass off the sidewalk. We're just going to kind of let this roll and show you guys the
I was
damage.
going to ask you, Hannah, I just spoke with Lana Hoffman, who owns Lana's Boutique, which is what we're looking at. I wonder if you could go ask her a question or two. We certainly feel bad for her that this has happened.
Yeah, let me see if she'll talk to us.
Interesting, at 2:23 in the morning. Almost surreal to see a business owner.
How are you guys handling this? Did you think it would get this bad?
Sure, hoping it wouldn't, but the historical nature of this in the last few days, how it's bleeding down to the local places. It's just a matter of time.
How does it make you guys feel seeing not only your shop, but looking down the mall and seeing so many other shops damaged?
Heartbreaking. Sick to our stomachs.
It's heartbreaking.
I
don't have a lot of words for you.
You had that phrase, "a small business is where dreams happen." You put your life in it.
Yep.
What now?
You carry forward. We're not going anywhere.
Sorry, nothing. We appreciate the police presence down here. These guys are amazing.
Absolutely. Law enforcement is amazing. They've offered to help us clean up. They've offered to see if they can find warts for us. We're working together on this.
Well, we are so sorry to see the damage, and good luck cleaning up. But we're gonna continue making our way down. Thank you for sharing your emotions. I know this is a tough night for everybody, and our thoughts are with you guys.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Well, Andy, that was just one store owner that you can see cleaning up as we make our way down the mall. A lot more damage.
You know what?
Just like what you just saw.
And if you don't mind, that's Lana Hoffman of Lana's Boutique. We see the damage. Could you ask her before you leave how much of her inventory is gone? Does she know?
Yeah. One more second. Hey, one more question. Do you guys know if any inventory, was it just the windows that were damaged? Was anything taken?
No, it's double paned here, so we got really lucky. I didn't even realize that. So
Yes. Andy, if you can hear us back in the studio, we're live on air right now. They said that you can see double pane, so only first layer of the glass was broken, so nothing was taken from here. It's just the windows that they'll have to replace.
yeah, tomorrow stays.
But we are hearing that they got into Gazelle Sports right down there and did take some things, so we'll try and make our way down the mall and talk to the owner there. I see him walking back towards his shop and try and get that answer for you. Thank you. So, yeah, we'll send it back to you in the studio and keep walking back that way.
All right, yeah. Hannah Knowles speaking with a business owner on the Kalamazoo Mall. So thankfully didn't have anything stolen, she thinks, but some damage, obviously, to her storefront. We're hearing helicopters overhead, and I just got confirmed from Kalamazoo Public Safety that the state police helicopter is up and assisting with an aerial view of what is being described to us as multiple crime scenes. Not only all that vandalism and crowds of protesters in the downtown Kalamazoo area, but in the southeast and the northeast parts of Kalamazoo, we were hearing reports of vandalism and crime as well. And we know that several people have been arrested. We've talked to Police Chief Carrie-Ann Thomas several times tonight, urging folks to stay home. Then police finally issued an ultimatum over a loudspeaker, telling people to evacuate the area within 5 minutes or they would be subject to arrest. We did see several people arrested tonight, and we showed you that live. We also saw the use of tear gas to disperse the crowd. We've been on live with you for a long time now. It is almost 2:30 in the morning, and it appears to be fairly quiet now in Kalamazoo after a very, very frightening few hours and a lot of crime committed. One officer we know was injured as well and was taken to a hospital with what are thankfully non-life-threatening injuries. We're going to stay on this, although we're going to end our live television coverage right now. We are always available to you on WWMT.com, also on our social media pages and our News Channel 3 mobile app. We will, of course, have the very latest information for you at 4:30 tomorrow morning, and we're on from 4:30 in the morning until 7 here on News Channel 3. We appreciate you watching. We are sorry to bring you this news. It's not been good after some violence in downtown Kalamazoo and in other areas of the city. For now, we're signing off, and we will check back with you and break in again to our overnight programming should conditions warrant.
Lives matter. The president said he will be calling up
as well when they started to first get those phone calls. But this viewer is saying that it was around 10 o'clock last night that this all started and all the cars started to head into the area. But what we were hearing prior to that was 11. So that's what we're working to sort out here and vet some of that information. But what we do know is that there were at least 20 to 40 people who were driving into the downtown Kalamazoo area at some point last night, possibly around 11 o'clock, and that they were driving around. There was some horn honking that was happening, and eventually
with TVA,
got out
WOTV4, WOTV4 with TVA, NBC.
There was a peaceful protest in downtown Kalamazoo earlier in the evening. There were people laying on the ground for that. It was quiet, it was full, and then that ended peacefully. And then it was hours later that this all started. Police responded swiftly in Kalamazoo. Officers eventually formed lines to push those crowds out of the downtown area.
2:30 p.m. Eastern
There
time.
was a gathering in Bronson
2:30
Park
a.m.,
at one
sorry.
point outside the First
I have
United
actually got
Methodist
Holly
Church.
Wills to go
It
sleep
was
right now,
outside the
guys, and
Methodist
I'm
Church
actually
that we
gonna
saw
miss.
police sending the tear gas. They moved in really quickly, used some non-lethal rounds, and then sent that tear gas. And that was one thing that helped break up the crowd. But it was also the line of officers who pushed those crowds out. So that's what's been happening overnight. There's a lot of broken glass in downtown Kalamazoo. There were no fires, though, or anything like that. But it was what happened earlier in the evening that ended peacefully. And we have more from Kyle Mitchell on how that peaceful protest played out
Captions
in
on.
downtown Kalamazoo yesterday.
Cars honked in support of the nonviolent protesters as they stood apart with words like love taped over their mouth.
What we do is that we take a piece of white tape and we everyone gets to decide what specific word really they're going to be praying about.
The peaceful protest was one of several around Kalamazoo County organized by a group of local churches. Those that were able laid down on the sidewalk. They say it was an attempt to feel what George Floyd was feeling and pray for change.
It gave me a fresh perspective of what the young man might have gone through, being down on the ground and being helpless. I put my hands behind my back just to kind of see, and I made sure it was uncomfortable for me.
The demonstrators say it was important this remained peaceful and wanted to avoid the violent protests seen in other cities.
Systematic oppression has been happening for so long in this country, in this nation, and so, you know, we don't condone it, obviously, but we understand the hurt and the cry of the people.
Before the protests went on, a business across the street boarded up its windows as a precaution. The mayor of Kalamazoo took part in the demonstration and is calling for protests to remain peaceful.
I'm going to believe that's not going to happen in Kalamazoo. I don't think that is Kalamazoo, and I don't think that's going to get us anywhere. So I am hoping and trusting and praying for, please support us to do the work we need to do. And let's start with something. Let's not burn it down.
For these protesters, it was all about prayer and peace.
I wanted to show as a Christian, you know, that we are here peacefully protesting, praying for the change in our nation that our nation desperately needs.
That was Kyle Mitchell letting us know what had happened earlier yesterday in Kalamazoo in the evening. And then after that, hours later, groups of people showed up in downtown Kalamazoo, cars driving around, horns honking, and then they did all of this damage. There is a lot of broken glass up and down the Kalamazoo Mall and at the courthouse as well. And we had heard from someone who said they heard that honking, that there were drivers heading around, driving in circles. And then after that was when the windows started breaking. And this would have happened after 11 o'clock last night because we were downtown, we had crews downtown, and it did not happen before 11. But you can see all that damage, which in Grand Rapids a few nights ago on Saturday night, there was a similar scene in terms of the broken windows. What we didn't see in Kalamazoo overnight was fires or anything like that. Police got in quickly, and you can see these crowds breaking up, people running away after police sent that tear gas, a couple rounds of it. They also had some non-lethal rounds that they had fired to try and break up those crowds. Their tactic was to get in quickly whenever they saw a crowd gathering, do that, send out the tear gas and the non-lethal rounds, and then officers formed lines and just kind of pushed people out of the downtown area. And they have all of those police cars too, blocking some of the intersections. There's a truck in one case blocking another intersection. But at this point, things have really calmed down in Kalamazoo after a night of vandalism that we saw. And we have several crews out in the area right now trying to get a sense of what's been going on. Leon mentioned too, Kalamazoo police have some experience with dealing with these crowds because of the X-train issues that we've seen over the years in Kalamazoo. And they clearly had a plan for how they were going to handle things if things got out of control, or at least it became something more than a peaceful protest, because it was very quickly that they had all of those officers respond in their riot gear, ready for whatever was going to happen. And in this case, they were able to just line up and get those crowds out of the downtown area relatively peacefully. We saw them make one arrest. That was after they had given a warning that anyone who didn't leave the downtown area within 5 minutes would be arrested because they had declared this, whatever was happening was an unlawful gathering and they would be arrested. But again, with what we saw was there was just the one arrest. What we've been showing you is some of the damage. So it's all the businesses in the mall area. There are a lot of them with broken windows. The courthouse has broken windows. There's that Mercedes dealership downtown, broken windows on some of the cars that are in the lot as well. Here's the video from earlier in the evening showing you some of that.
Vandalism and even fires being set just yards from the White House fence.
Back to NBC.
Who knew the owner and wanted to try and get some of that cleaned up by morning before the owner could make it out there. And that's what we expect to see here in the coming hours is the cleanup process. And like in Grand Rapids Sunday morning, it happened swiftly. And there were people who came out very quickly to assist with that. So that's what we'll be keeping an eye on. We're also trying to get some answers to some questions that we have about who those people were. There's the question of, was this related to the X train? Who was showing up? And we'll be working to get those answers for you. Dana White, though, is downtown for us right now. Dana, can you show us some of that damage that happened overnight here in downtown?
Yeah, Teresa, so we're making our way over to the Kalamazoo Mall, but this right here, we believe, is the Exchange Building on Michigan. You can see that if you come a little closer, this window is completely shattered, and the inside there's glass on the ground, and it seems that this is the area heading more towards the mall is where most of the damage is taking place. So we're going to keep walking, and then we're going to show you guys more of the damage once we get back over that way.
Okay, thanks, Dana. We'll check in with you in just a minute. So we've been trying to get in touch with the police chief. Obviously, they have been busy, but we're trying to figure out, did they arrest anyone earlier when this happened around 11 o'clock? Were they able to stop any of those people who did this damage and vandalize those buildings? Or did those people, most of them, leave the area right after causing the damage, and then there were other people who were not involved in that who were back downtown as police used some of the tear gas? So we're trying to figure that out. We're also working to figure out just how many arrests they made, because we only saw them take one person into custody. But they still have those intersections blocked off. They don't want anybody downtown right now. So at this point, even getting down there to clean up might be a challenge as they continue to block off some of the streets. Dana just was showing us the glass on the Exchange Building. The ATM has some shattered glass as well, which is something that we saw in Grand Rapids on Saturday night too. Some of the rioters were trying to get into the ATMs, but we know there is a lot of broken glass. And I know one of the questions that business owners in Grand Rapids were working to answer is insurance going to cover this, and how much is this going to hurt an already precarious effort to recover from having your business shut down during the COVID-19 response. So obviously that just makes it more and more of a challenge. We'll be checking in with those.
Smoother, brighter skin. For dramatic skincare results, try Olay and now receive 25% off your purchase at Olay.com. Brand power helping you buy better.
Itchy skin distracting you?